Good morning and welcome back again. Thank you for being stay tuned this session on AI Startup Ecosystem Seminar. I've got huge expectation on this panel discussion, and this discussion will be moderated by Mr. Jong Young-yoon. Moderator, would you please start?
All right, thank you. Hi, Ray. Good to see you again. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's great.
Okay, good to see you again.
It's a very present. By the way, do you think Mina is good enough to pass the Turing test, or where are we with regard to that, with something like Mina?
I guess so. It's a very limited area, so it depends on how we're gonna define the Turing test. But I think definitely, actually, I guess it's a pass.
Yeah, it's getting there. I don't think it's quite ready for a Turing test, but it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Ray. I mean, this is really engaging. You started already, but let me first introduce these two great people formally. Sung Kim. Sung is a global AI leader at Naver Corporation, also an associate professor at the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. He was a postdoc at the Program Analysis Group at MIT. He received his PhD in the Computer Science Department at the University of California, Santa Cruz. His research area is software engineering, focusing on deep learning-based code generation, software education, software evolution, repository data mining, development, social network mining, program analysis, and empirical studies. Okay. This was about Sung. And let me also introduce Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil is one of the world's leading inventors, thinkers, and futurists, with a 30-year track record of accurate predictions, called the restless genius by the Wall Street Journal and the ultimate thinking machine by Forbes magazine. He was selected as one of the top entrepreneurs by Inc. magazine, which described him as the rightful heir to Thomas Edison. PBS selected him as one of the 16 revolutionaries who made America. Ray was the principal inventor of the first CCD flatbed scanner, the first omnifont optical character recognition, the first print-to-speech reading machine for the blind, the first text-to-speech synthesizer, the first music synthesizer capable of recreating the grand piano and other orchestral instruments, and the first commercially marketed large vocabulary speech recognition. Amazing. Among Ray's many honors, he received a Grammy Award for Outstanding Achievement in Music Technology. He is the recipient of the National Medal of Technology. He was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame, holds 21 honorary doctorates, and honors from 3 U.S. presidents. Ray has written 6 national best-selling books, including New York Times bestsellers, The Singularity is Near in 2005, and How to Create a Mind in 2012. His latest novel, Danielle, Chronicles of a Superheroine, is #1 on Amazon in multiple categories. #7 on Publishers Weekly Young Adult Fiction List, a winner of the National Association of Book Entrepreneurs Pinnacle Book Achievement Award, and Moonbeam Children's Book Award Gold Medal winner. Ray is a co-founder and chancellor of Singularity University and a director of engineering at Google, heading up a team developing machine intelligence and natural language understanding. Again, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Sung, for attending this session. So let's go into a conversation. So I'm gonna ask. So
I have just a quick questions when I listen to Ray's all this great work. How did you come up with so many good ideas? So many good ideas. How did you come up with that?
Well, that's actually a very good question. I really try to start from the end, from the goal, and work my way backwards, and try to figure out how it actually get to that goal. Actually try to imagine my giving a speech some years from now, and I'm explaining how I solved the main problems to get there, and then work my way backwards. And that's, I pretty much go through that exercise every time I'm trying to achieve something.
Wow.
Very, very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me ask you some question regarding deep learning, Ray. So what do you think? Is deep learning going to the right way?
Yes, I think so. I mean, neural nets are now, all the things that we're seeing solved are being done by neural nets. But that didn't start until fairly recently. IBM's Deep Blue was not a neural net. And it was basically something where we just kind of put in all the things we knew about chess. And it was a big machine that studied everything that humans knew about chess. AlphaGo was a neural net and knew nothing about Go. And it learned it on its own just by playing itself. And then once it had done that, we simply replaced the Go rules with chess rules. And within 4 hours, it was now better than any human. And we've done this in one thing after another, radiology and so on. And I believe we'll be able to do everything that humans can do with a neural net. But it was not clear that this would work. Neural nets have been around for decades. I mean, I actually encountered the perceptron. This was 1962. I was 14 years old. And I went to Cornell and I met Dr. Rosenblatt, who had his perceptron. It was a one-layer neural net, and it really didn't do very much. He said it could recognize images. We gave it images. Most of them it didn't recognize. And neural nets were really not working until fairly recently. I've been in this field for 55 years. It's only in the last few years that this is beginning to work. And part of the reason is we need enough computation. It has to have enough computation to create all the intricacies that humans can recognize and go beyond that. But that's only fairly recently that we were able to do that.
All right, thank you, Ray. So the topic of this session is the AI ecosystem, startup ecosystem. So relevant to that topic. So Ray, again, question to Ray. So how can corporations embrace, harness, and exploit opportunities presented to them by nanotechnology and AI?
Well, you did a very good job actually of showing how AI can do things that humans can do, including creating music and so on. And really the only way for us to compete with AI, not today, it doesn't do everything, can't do music. I mean, it does music a little bit, but not at a expert human level yet, but it will actually get there. And the only way that we can compete with AI is to actually merge with it. And AI is not some invention that's coming from Mars to compete with us. I mean, we're creating it. It's part of our knowledge. And we have to then use it to make ourselves smarter. So I talked a little bit about that, how we will actually merge our neocortex with AI from the cloud. I believe we'll do that in the 2030s. And then we will be partly AI. But the AI part of us will actually grow. I mean, the cloud right now is doubling every year. And that's going to continue to take place. So once we actually amplify our intelligence with AI, it's going to get more and more powerful, and ultimately will be the bulk of our intelligence. But that will be who we are, because we created AI, and it's making us smarter.
All right. Thank you, Ray. So I'll turn to Sung. So you are leading the Clover AI at Naver. So tell us a little more about the Clover AI and what is it like leading like 250 people in your team?
Right. Definitely, this question is related to the previous questions: how companies can monetize or leverage these all amazing AI technologies. In the Clover, that's exactly what we are doing. So in Naver and then Line, we have a lot of services like Google, and then if you see each services like shopping or finance or the entertainments, there are so many things that we can improve using these AI technologies. For example, we recommend some nice music based on your preferences, or we can try to find the best products if you need to search, right? So all this, the behind of these services, we need the AI technologies, and then we can provide a better experience for the users. That's exactly what we do in the Clover. And then working with the 250 people is always exciting because everyone, each single of us have new ideas, and then they always say, oh, can you try something like that and this? And they're listening and also try to implement that. It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, it's I cannot imagine leading like 250 brilliant people, right?
But that's very small compared to what Ray is doing, right? Ray, in the Google team, there are many more, I guess.
Ray? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
How about Google? Like working at Google is how do you see what's the fun part?
Well, I've been there for 8 years. It's gotten a lot bigger. And I mean, it's really been a place where everybody is very good at what they're doing. I mean, I've had my own companies, I've had good people in my own companies, but the level of quality at Google, and it's not just Google, other places have a similar capability, but the quality is fantastic. And in my own team, we actually start projects on our own. People see where technology is going, and they figure out a way that they can advance it. So we don't. I don't have an idea of where technology is going, and then assign different people to do it. People basically come up with their own ideas. And that's pretty much how it works. But I mean, every week is quite different. I mean, I felt like I was, it's called a noogler, which is you're brand new at Google 8 years ago. And I still feel that way. I mean, every week there's new things happening that I've never heard of before, even though I've been there for 8 years. So it's quite a remarkable place. And it went virtual overnight. I know a lot of companies have done that, including schools and so on. But I mean, we were told basically from one day to the next, okay, everything's going to be virtual. And we never missed the beat. If anything, things are going better because, you know, with the COVID-19, you don't have anything else to do. So you got to work on Google. But it's going very well.
Yeah, thank you.
And as I said before, I think in computers in general, not just at Google, the progress is happening without interruption by COVID-19.
Yeah, thanks. So sounds to me the working culture at Naver and Google, sounds very similar, right? So Ray, I very recently learned that you are writing your next book. The Singularity is nearer, and you somehow changed your prediction from 2045 to 2029. So can you tell us more about that?
I haven't changed those are two different predictions.
Okay.
2029 is when computers will match human intelligence, and they'll pass a Turing test, being indistinguishable from humans. At the same time, the skills they have will actually go beyond humans, because if they actually performed it at computers at a level of a computer, people would know that it's not a human. 2045 is a different thing. That's a singularity. That's in the 2030s. We'll merge with computers. We'll connect the top layer of our neocortex to the cloud. The cloud is doubling every year. We'll basically be able to amplify our intelligence a billion-fold by 2045. That's such an astounding level that we can't really imagine what it would be. So we borrow this metaphor from physics, where basically you can't see beyond that singularity. We can't really describe it.
Oh, so
and that's been my so 2029 for matching computers matching humans, 2045 for the singularity. That's been my assumption really since 1999 with the age of spiritual machines, and then 2005 with the singularity is near. And this new book, it's the singularity is nearer, which is 15 years later, but it picks up. I mean, some things have happened in the last 15 years that we can talk about.
yeah, I really like the title of your new book, Nearer. Yeah, I really like that. Sang, so how many years you've been working at Naver Global?
For now, 3 years.
8 years. Can you think of one thing that you feel most proud of? I know it's just kind of
Yeah, there are so many, but I think this is a very small version of the Turing test. Last year, what we did is that we created human voices, very famous one, Inc., very famous one in Korea. And then what we did is that we tested this voice with a real human voice, and then generated ones. And then we asked the other people that can you tell or distinguish what's a humans or what's a machine generated ones. And then before that, actually all the computer generated ones, if you can hear carefully, we know, right? There's something special, tones or something. But in last year, we made the voices and no one can tell it's a real human or generated one. So it's kind of small set of Turing tests. We tested it and we were so excited about it.
Wow, thank you. Very, very exciting and interesting. Well, we have about 7 minutes left. We don't have a lot of time, so I'll have 2 more questions to both of you. So there's a lack of diversity among engineers creating AI. Won't their own subconscious biases and empathetic tendencies be built into AI? How should we plan for that? The biases of AI.
Well, I mean, this is actually a major issue, and we try to not have biases of the people working on it affect the end result. So it's not just that people put in their own ideas of things. Now, GPT-3 actually learned from the web, and the web is, of course, full of people's own biases. And you can see the bias in GPT-3 because it learned from the web. But that was conscious to do that. But if we create a product, I mean, there's actually people that actually have studied this and try to remove biases. I don't know if it always works, but that's a major activity, which seems to be pretty successful.
All right, thank you. What about you, Sang? What do you think?
I totally agree with Ray. So I think definitely we should try to get rid of these biases. Providing it's like raising our kids, right? Same thing. So if you can educate them very well, and this kids will go really right and good person. Otherwise, it can be or she can be biased. So you should be very careful to what to teach and what to not teach to our AI.
All right. So, Sung, you actually moved on to my kind of next question. I mean, naturally. So, next generation, the education. So, let me again introduce Ray's latest book called Danielle. So, we have about like 5 minutes. So, Ray, so how? Ray and Sung both, to both of you. How should we prepare for the AI era? What should we do? So, Ray, can you first start?
Yeah, I think we need to move away from the type of education we've had for hundreds of years, where kids are given books, they try to learn from it, they're given tests, make sure they've studied exactly what's in there, and that's not useful anymore. I mean, we now have things like this, which remember everything we need. So we don't need to remember anything, but we do need to understand how to apply this knowledge to actually make changes in the world that would be beneficial. And that's actually what we should be teaching young kids at all ages. I mean, remember, Google and Apple and so on, they were studied by college kids. And that can be done by high school kids and junior high school kids. So learn by doing, I think it's the key thing. And that's what Danielle is all about.
All right, thank you. Learn by doing. I really agree.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree with that. So definitely, we should know what is good, what computer is good about, and then what we are good about. So if the computer is good, we shouldn't try. I think one thing we can do really well is the craziness. So people can be crazy, right? So I think we should develop this more craziness, new ideas, which I think we can be much better than computer, at least at this moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. So to wrap up, let's start with Sung. Any comment or advice to the audience of this session? I mean, AI for the people who wants to kind of innovate world, change the world by using AI. So let's start with Sung.
Right. I can just echo what I said before. I think all the educations, we shouldn't try that something computer is good at it, right? We don't have to memorize a lot of stuff. We don't have to run the rules or things like that. So just to let the computer do this, and then as humans, what we should focus more is more creativity, or even maybe we should be a little bit more crazy. That's what I think is the best.
Thank you, Sung. And Ray, so for the people, the Korean audience who want to be an innovator and who wants to change the world.
Well, coming to a forum like this, I think is a very good way to start, because you'll learn a lot of things that are happening, and that's what education should be about, to actually learn things that nobody knows before, that we can actually discover on our own.
Well, again, I mean, I really wish that we had more time, but time's up. Thank you so much, Ray and Sung. I wish we are going to have another chance to talk about the AI and singularity, before 2029.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Thank you, Ray. I know it's very late over there. What time is over there? Is it like a 10?
It's not too bad. It's 10 o'clock. That's fine.
It's not too late. All right. Thank you so much, Ray, and thank you so much, Sung. It's been a great session, and we'll see you next time.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.